And honestly, you should break even. To be completely honest, you should have your money at a certain level where you shouldn't have this huge tax return at the end of the year, because that means you gave away too much money through the year.
100%. I'm so glad you said that, because I try to get people to understand that all the time, and they look at me dumbfounded. Like they act like the tax refund is like free money you get. Like, no, like that was you gave the government that was your money. Free loan,
right?
And they
make interest off of it.
Yeah, you're getting back what you overpaid, and money is all fake anyway.
You just overpaid your money.
Overpaid your money.
You have too many. Check your deductions when you signed up at the job. You put too many deductions on there. They're taking too much money out of your check. If you change those deductions, you have more money through the year rather than waiting for a tax return at the beginning of the next year.
Exactly. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Deep MCs, the podcast that seeks to push meaningful conversation to a whole new level. Whether it's for your entertainment or your personal growth, we appreciate you being here today. And now, on to the show. What's going on, man?
Shep, what's happening, bro?
Living the dream, one day at a time.
That's all we can do.
That's all we can do.
We can't stack them up together, so.
I got my watch on. You didn't think I was going to say nothing, but I got my watch on today. So whoever bet on me not having it, you lost.
This watch, man.
But you got to have it. It creates balance. It creates balance. I was going to do the normal, what are we getting into today? But we're talking real estate.
Yep.
We're talking
real estate.
We're talking your world.
My world.
Your neck of the woods. I think that this is something, it's a good topic to talk about. And we're surprised to people that don't know. Aaron doesn't even know that we're going to be doing a small mini series that has to do with people in their professions. People in their professions. So this actually works out perfect.
Okay.
It's going to line up right in there because you're doing real estate.
Yep.
And I think that also has something to do with people being prepared. We had conversations before about being prepared. Mm-hmm. And some of the best investments fall under the real estate market. You know, I tell people all the time, land really is the only thing that they're not making any more of. Yeah. So once it's gone, it's gone. Yep. It's going to be used eventually. So if you can get it,
get you a piece.
Get you a piece. That's why I hate selling things. But neither here nor there. We were having a conversation a little bit earlier on, and so we're just going to kind of roll with it. We're going to have some good outtake clips maybe. I don't know, I might have said something real racist, so you have to comb through that and make sure we don't offend anybody. Whatever, neither here nor there. But we'll just continue the conversation where we kind of left it off. It's interesting because zoning here in Houston, the zoning is fucked up. Right,
there really isn't any.
There isn't any. Mm-mm. You can build a mansion next to a trailer park. Yep. You can build,
and it happens every
day. An industrial building by the I don't know, whatever. But it's funny when you talk about space and everything too. If you think about on I-10, if everybody knows where IKEA is at on I-10, if you don't know Houston, look it up. But there was, right around that area, there was the veterinary clinic on, I forget what road. It's on it's across from IKEA.
Okay.
Right? It's actually right across from IKEA.
By the storage unit.
By the storage. Mm-hmm. And it used to be just a veterinary clinic.
Right. Right.
They had a nice little piece of real estate.
Yep.
Then storage came.
Bro.
And they said, let me buy your property. Veterinary said, fuck y'all. Storage said, no, fuck you, and built around their shit.
It's literally around it.
Literally around it.
Because when you started talking, I was trying to figure out. But the veterinary clinic is right here. It's like Legos. And the storage said,
yeah.
So the veterinary clinic is like right here.
They said, fuck your view. You're going to look at these cement walls.
Who cares what the dogs want to see?
At all.
Because they're no longer seeing what we had before.
We're building right around you.
Yeah, they did.
And it's interesting because in real estate, you do see stuff like that. You do see takeovers. And
so you say that, man, the Galleria, right? There's been so many lawsuits in the Galleria area because, we've had a lot of high-rise living. that has begun to happen over the last 5 to 10 years, right? At one point, Houston was per capita had the most cranes in the country were in Houston because we were building urban, right? We were
ridiculous.
going up, right? And so Houston had the most cranes in the nation were here in the city. And so what was happening was you having these huge apartment complexes go up, high rise, wonderful luxury apartments, and you buy the corner unit looking out over the city, but you had no idea that a year later they were gonna start construction on the next unit that was right in front of your unit.
Yeah.
Literally several yards away that now blocks your entire view. Gone. Your view is completely gone, but you just paid $5,000 for this unit that you're living in because you love the view.
Yeah.
So man, that is crucial. When it comes down to,
it's crazy.
And these were leases. These weren't purchases.
Right.
These were leases, right? And so here you are in a lease that you can't break
at all.
and now your view is completely gone. And we're starting to see a lot of that, and a lot of people are really just moving in because tech has grown big. Amazon has completely taken over.
Oh God, they're on everywhere.
Everywhere.
They own a lot of real estate.
They were. I get excited about this stuff, but right close to my house. We've been there 9 years now. We've been there 9 years. When we got there, we were the last house in our section of the neighborhood. Since then, they've finished everything off, blah, 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 blah. But then, when you go down the main road, I'm in Richmond, which is a suburb. When you go down the main road, there was nothing there. It was cow pasture, completely cow pasture. So you could go out there and you could really feel like you were still in a country setting.
Yeah.
In the last 5 years, everything is completely changed, and Amazon bought 150 acres of land, which were formerly pasture. 150 acres of land on a corner, right on 99, right on the main highway, and they built one of the biggest small product warehouses in Houston. On that
150,
and it was horses there at one point, right? Horses in a small barn.
That is depressing.
And it's gone. It's
gone.
concrete, and a brick and mortar. A building.
It's gone forever. It's crazy to think about. Quick interesting fact though, when it sparked in my mind when you were talking about the high rises and the urban living. Factoid for everybody out here, and also our new Japanese listener. We're in Japan now.
Woo!
Shout out Toyota Japan. Anyway, but they said that if you took the state of Texas and you built Texas with high rises like New York, that we could house the entire population of the U.S. just in this state.
That's not because everything in Texas we spread it out, right?
It's
but
not
if it was more urban,
yeah. If you built it like New York, they said that you could put the entire population of the U.S. in Texas.
Texas is huge.
Huge.
Have you ever driven through Texas?
Yeah, it takes 3 days
just to drive.
Just to drive
from one corner to the other corner.
Just drive through,
and you go from the biggest part over here, because we used to take trips from Louisiana through Texas to get to California.
Yeah,
and that drive is the most grueling thing you'll ever.
You need to take a vacation just to take the drive.
Yeah.
But I think about that though, and I would love for that to happen because I would like to just have a whole state to myself. So if anybody wants to, right, move the entire population to Texas, and then I'll just.
And then where you gonna go?
I don't know. No, I'm not gonna tell anybody.
Out of Texas.
I'll go. Just have all of Colorado to my to myself. But yeah. So with real estate, excuse me, it is interesting because. What I think that plagues Houston, and I know that this is not our normal episode, so bear with us, guys, is that we don't hold on. We really don't hold on to a culture or a past here.
Yep.
It's just, that shit's old.
Tear it down and start over.
But for some reason, the Astrodome is still
It's still holding on.
that means something to somebody, and I hope that they don't tear it down, because that'd be like actually preserving it. But if you go around the city, this used to be the predominantly like black neighborhood, or this or that, or was historic. It's not historic anymore. It's old. Boom, gone. And we're gonna build something. We're gonna build townhomes.
So when you think of age of cities, Houston is relatively young,
Right.
And we act that way. We don't hold on to anything. Nothing is of significant value, kind of.
No.
Nothing's almost too sacred to demolish and start over, right? And like you said, we don't have for me, that was one of the things that I was questioning, because I've been to Paris, where you saw all of these things in books.
Yeah.
Where you saw the Eiffel Tower, and you saw the Louvre, and you saw, the churches and all of those kind of things, right? And you go there with an expectation that those things are still going to be there.
Right.
And you're walking down the street and, oh my God, there it is.
There it is.
Right? You don't have that in Houston, right? You might have some parks or some things that, and even those get renovated.
Yeah, they get changed.
And changed. And so we're just not that city. We're not that city.
But it makes me sad, because I do love Houston. I don't have plans on leaving the area, but at the same time, I feel like I'm being pushed out, because, I don't have kids, but if I did, or, I have family, or whatever the situation may be, or people that have kids or raising kids, like, there's no history, there's no heritage, there's no, like, whatever, because it's just always so new. And that has to play a game on the mind subconsciously, right? Because it's this always constant renewal, and then I feel like it makes everybody getting that, well, I need something new.
Yeah.
This new house subdivision, when I need to get, my shit needs to be new, and I need to get, and we get in this cycle.
We keep getting bigger. We keep getting, and we having more kids. So, with the more kids, we want to be in a better school district, because then we have to make sure that that's going on. And a lot of that is happening across the board. People move into Houston, families, they start maybe in the Galleria area because, hey, let's live this urban life.
Yeah.
Galleria, downtown, midtown, let's live this urban life. Start having a couple kids and realize I don't have a backyard, or realize the schools in the middle of the city suck. And now I'm taking a trek out to the burbs, right? And I'm going to buy this 3,000, 4,000 square foot house in the burbs, right? Raise my family. And then now this is too big for me. So let me sell this too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now I sell this, make me a little profit. And then maybe I go stay with the kids, or maybe I follow them to college, or maybe we go find us another little small town home back in the city.
No, it's the process and going through that. It's just such an interesting journey to go through that. But I was wondering, so for all the people out there that don't know, this whole thing kind of started with the $42 million home.
Yeah. The one in California.
So I sent you the $42 million home.
Yep.
And I'm going to try to link it in all of this so you guys can see it if it's still up there. I think it's going to still be up there for you to look at. And it's just interesting because real estate plays on a bunch of different levels, right? What is it that, I guess, how do you transition through that that world? So, and let me elaborate. So, like you talk about the Galleria homes.
Yep.
There's a set of person that gets to sell those homes, right? And then the burbs person is like a different person, and they can overlap, but generally they're kind of segregated off, right? And then you have like the $1 million home person, right?
That's a different person. But then the $42 million home, right? Like, you see, it's like, an exclusive person.
How? Right? Like, how? Who? Because even I watch some of these shows.
The $1 million listings.
No, but even on like the one on Netflix, Selling Sunset.
Yep.
And now they have Selling Tampa.
Yep.
Which don't.
Leave it alone. Leave it alone. I watched the whole series. Let's go. Move on. We're talking about Houston.
I can't. I want to.
We're talking about Houston. Let's go. Come back.
So, Anyways, this is a hard one. We're gonna put a pin in it. I'm trying to fight through. So, but I watched that. I watched Selling Sunset, and I started watching that. I mean, the drama is whatever.
Yeah,
but
of course.
You see the homes, but even there, you had like 1 or 2 homes that was really, but the majority of those homes, you're talking, well, I have to act like it's not a lot of money, but it's, oh, it's $3 million, oh, it's $5 million.
But in California, that's
and in California, that's normal. In Beverly Hills, that's normal. Even then, you'd rarely see $42 million. Like how do you get to go from selling a house in the suburb? Can you? Is that even a thing, or is that just like a complete different subset of? At the end of the day, a realtor has to do something, but how do you go from selling that to I don't get out of bed if it's under 30 million?
I mean, you've made a name for yourself at that point where this is all you do, right? And so you have become the common person to go to for this. And so your name is being shared across the board when that happens. One of the things that happened for me is I received a referral for a client that was looking for up to a $20 million home. And that when that happened, I was 6 months into real estate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it wasn't anything that was particular to me at that point. It was just kind of, I was in it, right? I was there at the right place at the right time. And have kept up with that person. Of course, you keep up with that one, right?
No, yeah, for sure. you got to.
You keep up with that person, and have kept up with that person since then, and that was 8 years ago now,
right?
7 years ago. So I mean, and once you break in, then now you begin to even see how you operate in those circles, right? How do you show this? You're not normally. I can go in and I can schedule an appointment on a $250,000, $300,000, even $1 million home. I can go in and I can schedule the appointment, and I may be able to show it by myself. You start getting a little higher up, the other agent is going to be there. They're going to be there to walk you through and tell you about the marble and tell you about this and tell you about that. And then it just becomes a different kind of interaction, the higher up you go on that scale.
Well, I want to know what the $42 million interaction is. That $42 million
interaction is probably a private experience. Surely it may not even be the owner. It may be the owner's representative who has shown up to view the home because they may be a foreign person who's not even here, right? They'll send them the information over. They'll be like, okay, this is going to be a great place for your kids. So you've hired somebody to represent you in buying this home. It's generally probably not the person buying it because they don't want to be known. They don't want to be this. And so they're represented.
I just think that's so weird. Anonymity in real estate though is a weird thing too, because I don't want to be known, but at some point
you are talking about anonymity. That's the right word.
If you're spending $42 million, somebody's gonna know. Somebody's
to be honest, not everybody has to know.
I don't know. All I know is,
and don't buy it in the name of a trust or a business, and then you're completely
you're screwed then. So then my question for you is, here's the thing, because I wonder how it works. So you got into real estate to work for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're out there, you're hustling, you're doing this, that, and the other, and you're making it work. You can kind of make your own hours, and there's a beauty and a simplicity in that, and helping somebody find their new path in life. I don't know how you call it, whatever a house is to them, right?
Okay, right.
But you operate in freedom.
Yep.
Do you think you still get that same freedom when you're selling $42 million?
Bruh, there's a different type of freedom attached to that $42 million.
Yeah, but I feel like you got to jump through a lot more hoops.
So if you're at $42 million, you're dealing with a different client. So yes, there's gonna probably be another heightened level of connection and importance and all of those kind of things.
Doesn't that take away from the whole reason why you got? Because if I don't want to work for anybody, to now I'm working for somebody.
Let me hold on just a second. Let me see something right here. Okay, so 42 million.
Yep, 42.
42 times the typical. Most people will walk away from this deal with $1.26 million. An agent.
Yeah.
On that $42 million deal. That may be enough to kind of shift how you operate for a period of time.
I mean,
it's not like you're going to be completely. It's a day or two. It's not your whole life.
You don't know though, man. I don't know. I guess it depends on who the buyer is.
Who the buyer is, because if you representing the seller, that may be something different, because the seller's going to be on you. Have you shown my house? Do we have this, that, and the third? If you have the buyer and the buyer's coming in, then you're looking at this individual house. Do you like it? No. Okay, I'll look for something else. Yeah. This is going to sound really bad, but for was it 1.2? Yeah.
It's not worth it to me.
It's not? Yeah, I'm going to get it.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it to me. Like I don't know.
But you don't even know you're assuming the process is going to be bad. Like they're going to suck the life out of you to try to get it done.
I already feel the life sucked out of me. And then you sold that house in California, so you're going to pay federal tax, state tax.
You paid it already.
My 1.2. We don't got to pay state here. My 1.2 is gonna be.
You working normally, W-2, whatever you're doing.
You're
still gonna be paying it anyway.
I'm not jumping through hoops for half of my 1.2.
Well, you know what? If you run into somebody that wants it, there's a one that's for sale for $30 million here, right? If you run into somebody that wants it, just pass them on to me, okay?
I will gladly pass them on. Not a problem. It's just crazy to me that people. What is the mindset of someone that spends that?
And I'm playing, right? I'm joking. Of course, there are some. You still have to consider what it is, what type of agent you're going to be, right? Because there are some agents that'll sell anything to anybody at any cost, right? And I'm not that guy, right? If I don't feel comfortable with the deal, then I don't do the deal, right? And there's been some that it's what you realize is that it's an interview process,
right? Yeah,
you're interviewing me and I'm interviewing you in the same way, right? And so at the end of the day, yes, you can choose for me to be your agent, but I can also choose to represent you, right? That's the beauty of it. And if I don't feel like we're connected, if we don't have the same kind of value system, I don't go that deep into it, but if there's something that's just seriously wrong with how you've made the money that you're gonna now pay with it, you know what?
Not for you.
Not for me. I'm good.
And that's fair, right? And I'm glad that you said that, because we got to it sooner than later, right? There's morals,
of course,
in this field and line of work, and I think that is a lot of things that people don't consider. And it's interesting because a lot of people think, they're going to buy a house, I'm going to find a house, I'm going to find a person, but there is that whole process in there, and you have to have that relationship with the person, especially if you're shelling out exorbitant amounts of money, or you're
because for most
doing
people,
the work for
most people, this is the biggest thing that they will ever pay for, outside of student loans, which is a joke. Your home, is probably the biggest purchase, one of the biggest purchases you'll ever make in your life, right? And it's also one of the best investments. If you buy the one of the greatest pieces of advice I heard when we were buying our house, this is before I was an agent, is to buy the best house, the most house you can in the best neighborhood. So even if you have to buy a 1-story, 3-bedroom in the best neighborhood, do that as opposed to going and buying a 5-bedroom, 2-story in an okay neighborhood, because your appreciation is going to be that much better, and you make your money on the front end of a purchase rather than on the back end of a purchase. Okay. And
Yes.
so that is if that is my goal, is to make sure that, hey, we are buying the best thing you can in a neighborhood that I would consider living in, right? That I would move my wife and children now into, right? And so if I'm not willing to do that, then sometimes I don't show houses like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If people,
Yeah.
if they're just adamant about it, hey, I want to see this one. Okay, let's go see it. But I wouldn't advise that this would be the one that you're a single female. I wouldn't put my wife in here as a single woman. So I don't want to put you in here as a single.
right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I consider that in our process. But every agent's not like that.
No, but I think that's important in the process. So if you are looking to buy a home, you should consider these things. I didn't get this advice. That's why I live in a averagely shitty home in a shitty neighborhood right now. So point that out. It's not like this neighborhood sucks. So it's gunshots
It didn't at first.
all the time. Okay, I feel I'm in fear for my life every time I go outside. Okay.
Don't believe that.
This man sold me a house that I fear for my
I sold him
life
his
every
house,
time.
by the way. So
I fear for my life.
let's just
I didn't
pull
get buy the best house you can afford in the best neighborhood to whatever. Run it back 3 minutes. I didn't get that. Okay, so I'm stuck in a bad investment. The most money I've ever spent in my life. Shitty home.
Even if I don't sold him the $40 million one in California that he
Still
loved, that he really loves,
made me buy
it would have
this.
still been the same situation.
Let me
So
buy this bullshit out of here. This bullshit ass. We gotta stare at this stupid ass city all day. This stupid ass
right,
pool.
who asked for this pool?
Right, we
now I
stupid.
gotta clean
I
it.
can't even walk on this side of the pool. Infinity edge bullshit. It's mad as hell.
And why is my car inside the house?
Inside the house.
Who wants that?
Who does dumb shit park inside the house? Nobody does that. But I mean, yeah, I probably would just be just like that. But that's why I don't have a $42 million house. It's less stuff for me to complain about. But it does, and I want to have this conversation because there's a lot of people, and I'm talking to a lot of people right now who are, look, I'm doing the Barack Obama finger. I can't do his voice, but
Right.
you know, whatever. Talking to a lot of people now that are starting to branch out. A lot of people, especially with the way that things have been lately and the prices and whatever and this, that, and other. But for whatever reason, a lot of people are trying to buy homes. A lot of people are trying to swoop things up, make moves, make changes, whatever. And I question, because you said it is the biggest purchase you're making. I don't know. There's a lot that goes into buying a home.
Yeah.
There's a lot, because it is a large chunk of your life, and you don't get really the opportunity to kind of, like you said, the person that cares about them, that's going to try to find them, to think of the things that they're not thinking of, right? Most people, when I hear them talking, we had a conversation today when I was at work, and they're only thinking, oh, I want a pool.
Yep.
And
the wish list.
Yeah.
Is all people really consider.
This and that. But do you feel, I mean, outside of the things that you said, do you feel that there are things that people should be considering when they're making their home purchases that is constantly being overlooked, that anything outside the wish list? Because that's just stuff.
Yeah. I mean, of course, the wish list is important. One of the things I want you to consider is, with that wish list, what are the non-negotiables of the wish list? Because generally, unless you're building a custom home, most times you're not going to find everything you wanted on that wish list anyway.
No bowling alley.
You know, so right. Especially not at a $250,000 house. You're not going to find the bowling alley because it's going to be too long for the house anyway. So let's just be, be honest about, your expectations. And I think that's the biggest thing that I have a conversation with. Let's make sure that we have clear expectations about what we really want out of this situation, because we go into it expecting $150,000 to buy something and it doesn't anymore.
How often do you see that, man? I'm curious, like, and that's another reason why I couldn't do your job, because that shit happened. Like, I feel so many people are out of touch with.
It's just a lack of
costs.
education, right? It's believing that we are still in 2009, 2010, where you could go and you could find a decent home for $150, $160, $175,000, and it wasn't a train wreck, right? It wasn't completely rat infested and broken. You could find it then. You can't find that now. Those are anomalies that really don't exist anymore, in this market. And so, even the lower end builders are mid twos now.
It's my home.
Low threes.
Low end piece of shit. It's funny that you say that though, because when I wasn't living here at the time, but this complex, is it complex? Subdivision?
This subdivision.
Yep. Subdivision of what? I don't know. Of a pile of shit. They had just opened up and they just had the little cul-de-sac show homes over there. And there was a sign that used to be out there, and it was out here on the corner too. And it said new homes starting at $79,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
$79,000. And I was like, and I was coming from California prices, Florida prices, Hawaii prices. I'm like, $79,000.
I can give me two of those.
Yeah. Well, shit, sign me. Right. I'm gonna buy the block.
Yeah. Right.
At that price, I wish I would have bought back then.
That affordability is still kind of similar to that, right? Because Houston went up, but everywhere else went up, right? And what we saw this past year, last year, was this crazy influx in all of Texas. Houston, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, all of the major metropolitan areas. We saw this influx of cash buyers coming from the East Coast and the West Coast, right. Paying cash money for a $300,000 home, or selling their 2,000 square foot home in California for $3 million, coming to Texas buying a a 4,000 square foot house for $800,000 and pocketing the rest. And then they would go and pick up a couple little small investment properties, and so snatching it up. And we saw a lot of that, man. A lot of cash buying, which drove the prices up.
I missed out, man. I could have been king of Katy.
I know. Could have had a whole neighborhood under my. Because even this area, man, is blown up in the last few years.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, because you didn't have all of this that you have now.
No, not at all.
It's crazy. He and I talked about a piece of property right across, less than a mile from here, with one of the big ideas, and it was nothing out here. So,
at all. It happens fast.
That piece of property is probably tripled or quadrupled in value.
More than that.
Yeah.
More than that. And that's the sad part. That's the sad part about it. So I guess what would you, I know what I would say, but what would you tell these people? I missed the $79,000 home. And I kick myself every day for it, but say, oh, don't cry over spilt milk. Shit's already spilt. I'm still mad about it.
I got you.
Right now, we're in a unique market.
Yes.
What do you advise people to do? Do they wait? Do they pull the trigger? Do they what do they do?
I think it's evaluate your personal need for moving right now, right? Is it necessary for you to upgrade or downgrade? Consider what that is. It may not hurt you to see what the market does over the next year, if you have that opportunity, if you have that ability to be able to do that. If you don't, then this is the best time. Say if you are listing a home, this is the best time to do it, because you're going into the height of the season. The height of the season is the spring into the summer, right? It dumbs back down probably mid-September, going back into the holidays. That's when it begins to slow a bit. So right now is when you're going to have the most activity in the market, going from the spring into the summer. People want to be in their house before school starts because they want their kids to be in the new school zone. That's generally the idea. So if you're selling, clean up the house, declutter the house. Let's pack up some of all of the trinkets and the toys and everything else, and let's pack that up, Put those in boxes. Get that in the garage. Get it out of the way. Get it in storage. Have a garage sale. The spring garage sale is coming. Sell some stuff. Get rid of some stuff. And let's get ready to sell the home. If you are buying a home, you are coming. If you're looking now, then what does your credit look like? Before we even go looking at houses, let's make sure your credit is right.
Pull your credit score.
Pull your credit score. It's free. Pull your credit score. Credit Karma is a joke. We're not looking at Credit Karma. That's gonna help us, but it's not gonna be what your true number is. You'll pull Credit Karma, you'll have a 620 on Credit Karma. Your credit score will be a 520, and you'll be like, "Why? No, Credit Karma, no." Let's do it for real. Let's look at it. Let's make sure, and begin to put some money to the side. Don't spend your tax money. Don't take that money that you just got back from your tax return and go blow it on something that's frivolous. Put it towards a down payment. Put it towards something that you can come back and look at and actually say, okay, this helped us, right? And then let's jump out there in the market and start looking, because it's gonna be quite a few people out there that are doing the same thing you're doing.
I want to know, first off, who is getting a house down payment for their tax return? Because I'm doing my taxes all wrong.
I'm doing mine wrong too. But there's a plenty of people that are they buying cash cars and they get the furniture and going to Atlantic City and Vegas. And
I don't understand it. I don't understand how. I mean, I understand it, but I don't understand it.
I'm using the wrong tax person, because we're not getting that kind of return.
Loopholes.
That's some stuff I don't know.
I can't even barely pay for my tax preparation with my taxes.
Right.
My shit's so small.
Just breaking even.
Yeah.
And honestly, you should break even. To be completely honest, you should have your money at a certain level where you shouldn't have this huge tax return at the end of the year. Because that means you gave away too much money through the year. 100%.
I'm so glad you said that, because I try to get people to understand that all the time, and they look at me dumbfounded. Like they act like the tax refund is like free money. You get. Like, no, like that was you gave the government that was your money. Free loan,
right?
And they
make interest off of it.
Yeah, you're getting back what you overpaid, and money is all fake anyway.
You just overpaid your money.
Overpaid your money.
You have too many. Check your deductions when you signed up at the job. You put too many deductions on there. They're taking too much money out of your check. If you change those deductions, you have more money through the year rather than waiting for a tax return at the beginning of the next year.
Exactly, 100%. But also that you said that,
and that's important. That's important when you go to get approved for the house, because if you show more money, then now your debt to income ratio now changes, because now you're showing more money that you actually bring home.
Just increase your buying power.
Increase your buying power. You just increase your buying power.
I didn't have a lot of buying power, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I got the one bed, half bath deluxe.
He's lying.
No, the deluxe. All right, it's terrible. You ever seen the place where the bed doesn't even fit in the room? Right, it's just scraping the walls. That's how we do it here. Still could have been King of Katy. But that is also a good question. We talked about down payments, talked about credit.
Yes. A 580 is not going to give you a house.
580 is not going to give you a house. If you get 580 or below, you're struggling. You're gonna be renting, and you're gonna have to pay a big down payment. On a rent,
because your interest rate. You're looking at interest rates, and the interest rate is going to be higher because you're a risk.
So let's and that's what I want to talk about. Let's pop all those bubbles right now, because I have a lot of people. I'm gonna buy me a house. The house gonna cost less than my rent is. Well, what are the qualifiers? We talked about credit. What is a good credit number to get in that home? Where do you got to be?
620 or above. Right?
620.
And 620 is a starting point. Right.
Starting point.
620 is a starting point. You want to be higher than that. The 700s, closer to 800 you get, the better interest rate you're gonna get.
620, you're probably about my shade. 800, you're about as white as these lights that's on me right now. It's just, that's the gauge. You don't even have to. Gauge. I just fixed it. You don't need Credit Karma. You don't need to pull it. Just look at yourself. Look at me. If you are about my shade, you are 620. The lighter you get, you're probably going out. All right. So we got credit scores set. Build
your credit. Ways to build your credit. Have somebody look at it. That's a professional. If you can't do that, you can't pay for that. Then there are some other
I
things.
just told you how to get your credit score.
But there are some secure credit cards that can help you. But if you're not responsible with credit, don't do that, because now you're gonna have another high interest, maxed out card that is going to require you. That's gonna be debt for you. It's not gonna help you.
Can I pause you right there? I have a challenge, if people can remember. It's not really a challenge, it's a story. Because we talk about credit, and this is going to be a whole nother episode, which we can talk about at a later time. I believe we had a conversation about this in the past. Credit cards and race.
Okay.
Credit cards and race. And if you are of anything other than Caucasian descent, you're going to be on one side of this world, this field. If you are of Caucasian descent, you're going to be on the other side of this field. And this isn't putting anybody against anybody. But I did notice, especially when I was younger, maybe things have changed, obviously. Normally speaking, when you would get a first credit card, right? You're a teenager, first job, whatever the hell it is, whatever it may be, right? When you get your first credit card, your limit is usually $300, $500, whatever. I thought that was normal until I started having conversations with Caucasians, right? We both work in the same job. We both make the same amount of money. I got my credit card, $300. Billy over here got his credit card, $1,000. Same age, same job, same whatever, right? So I challenge people to have conversations with their friends. What was your first credit card? What was your limit? It was just surprising for me
to see that disparity.
To see the disparity that is there. Like, why am I less credit worthy as a person? I got a job too. I'm working more hours than this guy does.
Well, I mean, we've seen it's been proven that there have been some kind of disparities in credit worthiness and loan approvals.
No, those don't exist. They said it in the news.
The news lies.
Right?
I mean, we've seen it. I mean, you've seen how, when it even comes to getting loans and getting approved for loans, other than Sally Mae gave them to anybody that wanted it. But,
True.
And gave a gang of it. Like, it didn't even, you could be 17 years old. I'm veering here. 17 years old and get a $500,000 loan to pay for school. That's crazy. But you can't go to Walmart or Target and get a Walmart Visa with $1,000 limit. Something's wrong with the system when it comes to that.
Broken.
Right? You know what I'm saying?
Hell.
And so now you get out with a $500,000 payment that you're trying to take care of, and now you can't buy a house because the government says no, you have too much debt. Okay, that's my soapbox for that.
You got $500,000 of debt.
$500,000 of debt
first. You ain't buying shit.
Right. With a master's degree.
Yeah.
And now you're with a master's degree eating ramen because you're working 2 jobs to pay down a loan now because they're garnishing your wages. Because now Sally Mae needs $500 a month.
Every month.
Every month.
Not working the job that you went to school for.
Yep.
So if that sounds like you,
yep,
please reach out to DM Convo Gmail. I have a nice 1-bedroom, 2 half bath that I would love to rent you
for rent
to help save that money. But yeah, I mean, that is another thing. That's for me, I guess, the dark side of home buying. Because if you look, I mean, you're doing your sales, you're making your money, so whatever. But like, it seems like the shade of people is lopsided when it comes to acquiring.
There's a lot of things, man, that we just didn't, we didn't know about credit, and
right.
That we weren't taught about credit. Like we didn't understand the game. You know what I'm saying? We had no clue. So yeah, I got that $300 card limit right in college. My freshman year in college, and I ran it up buying,
everybody eating
Z Cavaricis. Man, had to get the new Z Cavaricis, man, and some Elise. Y'all don't know anything about that. Okay, all right. Cause we going to the party, right? We going to hang out.
Yeah.
And of course I don't have any money. Well, I do have a little money because I got a little more money from my loan. So I have this extra student loan money that I got, and I have this credit card, and I'm balling out of control, right? With nobody to tell me that I can't get it because my parents are at home, right? They're over there. So now I have all of this money, and I've never been taught how to really manage it. And I've never been taught how to manage credit or what credit meant and how valuable it was going to be for me later in life. And so now we spend a lot of time as adults trying to fix what we broke.
Fight back, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What we broke then because we just didn't have the knowledge of it. And there's plenty of people today that still have no clue about how valuable credit is and how necessary it is for you to maintain it, for you to build it up. It's crazy, man, how much is put into it. And the system is still flawed. The system is still really flawed.
Do we need to find a credit counselor? I
think we probably do need to connect with somebody that's going to give us additional information.
I think that we should.
Yeah.
I think
that'd be perfect.
I think that's huge. Yeah, let's work on that. Before we get out of here, though, I do have a question for you.
Yep.
You got the student loan money.
Yep.
You got the credit card.
Yep.
You went shopping.
Yep.
Where's the product now?
Dude, in some trash bin somewhere, because completely I done gained 50 pounds since college, so clearly I'm not wearing it anymore. And who knows where it's dry rotted in a bag at the Goodwill somewhere.
And that's what I want everybody out there to think about before they swipe that card. What are you gonna be stuck with in the end?
Today,
what are you gonna be stuck with in the end?
Today, you're no longer in college, but you're still swiping cards, right? But you say you want a house. We have to be mindful, guys, that anytime we swipe that card, you know, if you don't have the money to pay for it, a good way to use your credit card. If you want to build your credit, you already have a bill that you normally pay from your regular money. Your cell phone bill, your cable bill, something like that you normally pay, that's already on a cycle. Pay it with the credit card, and then whatever your normal cycle is, pay the credit card off. Now you're building consistency with your credit with money that you already had set aside. Okay? That's going to build consistency. That's going to build trust in you as a borrower, that I'm not spending everything that you give me, so I'm responsible. These are the words that we have to use when we would go to rebuilding our credit, right?
Yeah.
And
willpower.
Don't get happy, you know, because it's Valentine's Day that you go and you spend. You'll understand that if you see the Valentine's Day episode.
Exactly.
And go and spend a gang of money on Valentine's Day gifts on the credit card that you know you can't pay off in the month when the bill comes back up.
And that's going to end up in the trash.
That's going to be gone. How many more teddy bears does she need, dude?
I love it, man. Real estate episode.
I hope we help somebody.
I think we did.
Okay.
Let's leave it there, man.
Later.
Yeah. What's going on, guys? Hopefully you enjoyed the show. We appreciate you listening for sure. But we need your help.
Yeah, we need your help. We need you to like, comment, and subscribe so that we can continue to make great content for you guys.
Yeah. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe.
And it's right here on the screen. Everything you need.
Right there. Thank you so much, guys, for listening.
All right, take care.